Guys, beer, sports. Join Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, what's happening? Hey, Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, episode 29, close of season 1 is on the way. Sean, how are you?
Excellent, man. Excellent. How you doing, man?
Oh, well, it's good to see you.
Heard you got some snow over there.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, a little small 8 inches, which doesn't sound much to maybe many of you, but in this corner of the PNW, it's, you know,
it's detrimental. Everything gets stopped.
There's one coffee shop open. I'm sure it's packed.
Everybody's they're all bundled together.
No, everyone will be outside.
Oh wait, yeah, it's COVID.
Everyone loves it, but they don't care. Well, it's interesting to see how it shakes out. It sounds like it's going to be here for a day. It looks like we're getting a bunch of snow from last night and this morning, and then today, and it's going to warm up and rain tomorrow and wash it all away. So
yeah,
it might be the best.
I just got to laugh when your daughter walked in, Coco, going, "Does COVID-19 still exist in the snow?"
Yeah, no. Well, 4-year-old logic.
I know, I love it.
All your problems disappear when the fun happens. That's how it works. We're trying to bring it. Hey, shout out to our friends at Flyers Brewery. Got me another can here. Got the Barnstormer. What was it called? I always just call it the Barnstormer, but Barnstormer Brown is the move. I also have my fallback forever, my pacemaker porter in the garage there. So gonna hold that, or the garage, as you may call it, where you're from. It's the best time of year for drinking garage beer because it's just like the perfect temperature, right? So
that's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us for that. It's a good deal. They've got a new beer right now. It's a mango beer. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yes.
We'll see how it goes. So
Brad, I tweeted that out there too, so you better go try it because I want full updates on that mango beer.
I'll let you know.
Because I was looking at that and I'm like, dang. So
it sounds like anybody.
Yeah, I said everybody in the Skagit County area, you got to go to Flyers and try this mango beer and let me know. I'm living vicariously through all of you.
I'll let you know how it works out.
Yeah, buddy. So I stopped into Propeller Brewery. So they have 3. I did not know this. They have 3 different brewing areas there within HRM, Halifax Regional Municipality. And so the one that I stopped in is a Windmill Road in Dartmouth, and very accommodating. I called up, let them know what I wanted to do, told them that we've already promoted their beer twice before. So they gave me a card to their, social media manager there. So Evelyn, she ended up reaching back to us. Thank you very much. They suggested this one here. This is a limited batch here called S'mores from Propeller Brewery. Basically, we are looking at, I like what they wrote here. Gather around and warm yourself with a decadent treat. Brewed rich with roasted malts, chocolate, vanilla bean, and lactose. It will spark the joy of gooey toasted marshmallows by an open fire and leave you wanting s'more. Ooh. And what they call it, it's an Imperial Dessert Stout. Extra strong beer. Imperial Dessert Stout. I got to tell you right now, it's very phenomenal. Like, I literally taste like it's a beer s'mores.
Just like the word says. It's interesting you're having dessert so early on a Saturday, but I guess it's not. It's
Valentine's Day. Well, week. When this comes out, it'll be Valentine's Day.
You celebrate Valentine's Day all week long?
All week. Look at me, man. I'm sexual chocolate. What?
Wow. Big sexual chocolate teddy bear, huh? Is that how it works
out? You're turning red right now, buddy.
I'm not. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm just trying. That's all.
You're turning a little red. I was like, did he just say that?
To say, but I'm not going to say him. Anyway. On to other things. This will be our last episode for a couple weeks. We're gonna take a couple week break. So we're gonna close this off at season 1. We will be back in 2 weeks. So we'll be
March 7th. Yeah.
We'll see some content from us in between those times. But We're going to take some breaks. I'm going to celebrate my daughter's 17th birthday. So I'll be out a little bit and traveling. I know Sean has got some things to go with also. So we're just, we felt like this was a good time to kind of reset. It's a good time of the year, sports wise. There's just hockey going on. So who cares?
Hey.
Oh, there is basketball going on. That's the thing.
Oh,
So anyway, we'll have a bunch to talk about when we get back and a lot of breakdowns. We got some fun guests coming back. We've got our friend Ryan's coming back on. We've got our buddy Stan's coming back on. We got a couple more things in Hopper working on. So season 2 looks to be brighter than season 1. And to be honest, season 1's been really bright for us. And so we're grateful for your support. We're grateful for your ears and eyes and all those things. So look forward to what the rest of 21 holds. With all that said, John, this week, sports, a lot of interesting things going around. Most of them, I think we could all put into the vein of the trade market and the difference. So I think for one, we see more mid-season trades now more than ever in the major sports, right? Maybe more interestingly, we see players vocally asking for trades out of locker rooms more than we had ever seen. And so let's just dive right into there. I know Sidney Crosby, man, I almost called him Mason Crosby. That's how much I don't care. Mason Crosby, the kicker for the Packers, almost slid out of my mouth instead of the greatest hockey player to ever play in Sidney Crosby.
Whoa. We still got the Wayner there, buddy. Wayne Gretzky. I mean, that's the reason he's called the Great One, I
think it's a self-given nickname, but whatever, it's fine. Wayne maybe isn't as great in this era as he would have been in his own era. So
whoa. We'll have a whole full discussion about this here, Brad, because I would love to discuss how is it that you have names like Bobby Clark, Phil Esposito, Bobby Orr, all these guys. Well, okay, Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito. Let's take them out.
Like you're naming
Let's just go into.
You're naming off extras in a Quentin Tarantino.
No. Get out of here, Mark Messier. All these guys that played in that generation with him, and yet 50 goals in 50 games was the standard. This guy did it in 39. This guy got 218 points in a single season.
In his era. I'm just saying he doesn't fit in this era. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm saying that he would have probably done great things in this era.
Probably.
Great things, Don't forget, too, that the pads...
I probably would have played in the NBA if I was 7 inches taller and talented.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. All right, listen, we're getting off topic here. I don't have time to educate you on hockey right now, Brad. So I don't have the time or the patience
or the energy. Sounds like Valentine's Day night at some people's house, but it's fine.
Listen, here's one thing that I am very interested in is that you would see a lot of this stuff, these antics playing out in like the NBA, right?
Yeah. Not
so much the NHL, but the NBA is a very, very vocal league, I always thought. Like, I mean, people always speak what's on their minds, So to see it happening in the NFL, and especially with a guy like Russell Wilson showing up on the Dan Patrick show, and then all of a sudden, this guy was the number 1 cheerleader for Seattle. Think about this. This is the first time ever that he's come out and saying, I'm getting hit too many times, and I like to be part of the decision-making process of who comes into Seattle. It's the first time he's actually said any criticism against Seattle.
Here's the thing, though, too, is that if we look back, we've seen this coming, right? And Russell's always been the good guy, glad-handing and doing those things. But when he negotiated his last contract, he tried to put in an escalator clause that he would be responsible for a certain percentage of he wanted to get paid based on the salary cap.
Right.
Because he felt like as the quarterback, he deserved that. So this decision that he's putting out now isn't a surprise to me. What is surprising to me is that Russell thinks that he would be a great talent evaluator. But maybe it's not surprising because Russell has his hands in so many other things that maybe he thinks he can do this also. But you can't run your businesses. You can't be your wife's arm candy. You can't be a quarterback of a football team, and you can't be a talent evaluator. Hardly anyone can be a GM and a coach.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tom Brady.
It doesn't make those. Yes, and Tom's one of the greatest to ever do it, but he's the outlier.
Absolutely.
No one else is doing it. Joe Montana wasn't doing that.
No, like Tom Brady. Tom Brady put his fingers in that pie, and really he baked a beautiful pie in Tampa Bay. He did.
Him and Peyton Manning, right? And I love
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. I don't want this to, I mean, this sounds like it's a harsh thing to say, but he's not Peyton Manning and he's not Tom Brady. You know why? Because if he was, he wouldn't be doing all this other stuff on the sides. And he wouldn't be able to track be like, oh, Russell sucks right now. What's he doing? Oh, on social media. Oh, he's doing these other things.
Well, I think he's trying to empire build. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, but except for when it comes to the detriment of your performance.
Yeah.
When you can't get the ball out in time and you're getting hit, and then you're not going to take
But
responsibility.
is that on him or is that on the wide receivers not getting open?
I mean, it's on him sitting back there waiting for something to open up downfield instead of dumping the ball off, continually waiting, taking sacks. He took more sacks that were his own doing, that were more than 4 seconds in the pocket, which is an eternity in the NFL this year, and that's because.
Absolutely. When you looked at the time period there that Roethlisberger was getting it out, and it was like 2 something.
Yeah, less than 2 seconds, 1.75 or something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is he's not checking the ball down in a time where arguably he had the most talented offensive line he's ever had, and he had the most receiving weapons he had ever had. Not to mention he had a pretty good two-handed run. He's never had better receiving options than he has the last 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. DK Metcalf is amazing.
And so if you go from holding the ball from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, that's on you, Russell. Own it. Make the damn move.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. Think you're not being protected. Throw the ball.
Interesting.
Or check out.
Like, so you actually think that his offensive line has actually been better than okay.
Last year,
arguably, yeah.
Last year, yes. Prior years, no.
Yeah.
But this last year it was, and he thought he could do some things and he couldn't.
Yeah.
It's chicken shit for him to say now that it is not being protected enough and then pulling up all these stats from the last 5 years.
Well, he was one of the most heaviest sack quarterbacks.
He is. He 100% is.
Yeah.
But say it then. Don't say it when they give you a better offensive line and then you pull the ball in and try to hold it twice as long as you were holding it before.
Do you think this is a ploy? This is a ploy for him to get out of Seattle?
I don't think it's a ploy for him to get out of Seattle. I think it's just I think this is how he feels. I think he likes Schottenheimer. I think he's upset about that. And I feel like the way that because Pete had come out and said that Norton and Schottenheimer were going to be around, and then 3 days later Schottenheimer was gone.
Yeah.
And
was that Schottenheimer? I'm sorry, just to interrupt you. Was that Schottenheimer Marty's son, Marty Schottenheimer's son? So yeah, rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer. We'll get into that later. Anyway, so keep going.
One of the greatest coaches to do it.
Yeah,
I've never.
It's still not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
The Hall of Fame's a joke anyway, but that's another topic for the time, I guess. It's a popularity contest, man. Who wants to win a popularity contest? It's stupid these days. But I go back and I look at all these things, and I look at Russell's heartfelt post of Schottenheimer that we didn't see for Darrell Bevell. I think there's more under the surface that we aren't aware of between John Schneider, Pete Carroll, and Russell Wilson. And I think that Russell sees an opportunity to get in more than what he wants to do, and I'm not here for it. I don't think it's great, and it has nothing to do with that. I don't think players should be active and vocal. I think that they should be. I think they have an ability and an obligation, and many times to say things and to do things. Yeah, but this ain't it. He's not it.
Yeah. What's interesting though is, like, yesterday you were stating that this is just a whole bunch of smoke. There's no real fire. It's like it's probably going to blow over till next season. Yeah. Where the sports media world is kind of going nuts over this, and they're really looking at landing spots for him because, like,
there's nothing else to do, right? And even if you think about it, who's going to get back in?
Yeah, well, the thing is, especially when you have Deshaun Watson out there as well, right? So, and possibly Aaron Rodgers as well, because even though he said all the right things, Aaron Rodgers is asking for more money.
Russell's not going to bring back a trade package that anybody wants, because Houston's going to gig it for everyone. Everyone that would want Russell Wilson, let's just say most of them, or a majority of them, are in the NFC. And there's no way that John Schneider trades Russell Wilson in the NFC.
No, yeah. Like, I was thinking maybe to the Jets, because they got the trade. They got the picks.
We just made a move with them with Jamal Adams, right?
Yeah.
But
and they got the picks.
And that's the thing. Geno Smith's not going to be a starter.
You get picks. That's what you get back. You get picks.
You can't do that if you're Seattle. You've got to get back a serviceable quarterback. And Sam Darnold's
Well,
probably
you can
not-
draft. You could draft. Well, it's not going to be Sam
yeah.
Darnold. You could draft Justin Fields, which is a similar breed of quarterback to Russell Wilson. I mean, that's the only thing that I looked at that actually made sense. It's like, okay, so now you have this quarterback that you're not paying top dollar. You can now go out and sign those defensive players, like maybe bring in a J.J. Watt, maybe bring in somebody like that in order to say, hey, listen, we have a potential contender here. You know, I don't know.
Maybe it makes sense. You know, they got to do that. The thing is, you know, Seattle built their team when it was in contention, like in real contention, by having a quarterback under team control contract wise, so they could spend their money on defense.
Yep.
And I think that they would like to get back to that.
I think people forget
they're hamstrung right now on how they can pay people because of Russell's contract.
Well, that's it. People forget that at one point, Russell Wilson was the highest paid quarterback at one point until Patrick Mahomes got his deals.
Yeah, I would even, you know, I would even be, there's, you know, the list of quarterbacks that I would accept to replace Russell Wilson isn't very long, but I would even take Matt Ryan right now, to be honest with you.
Really? That's
a
whole different. That's a whole different scheme.
Not for what we're trying to do. I mean, we have to be on a team friendly deal, but
like
it's
that's
not
a whole
really.
different
If you think about what Pete Carroll likes to do, Russell Wilson is not his quarterback.
I guess maybe we're just used to seeing Pete Carroll using Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson just being that guy to scramble and get you those yards, right? So there's like a two-pronged running attack.
I think as a fan base, the last 2 years, last year we started back, is Russell losing a step? Is he? And this year he came in and he was not right this year.
I'll tell you what though, because
he's still prolific.
If he were to land, what's going on there?
My phone turned on. She must have thought I said Siri, and then she was like,
"Oh, she wanted to help you out, eh?" No, but seriously, to me, if it is just something that's just going to blow over for another season, you know, well, then you're still stuck in the same thing, and then you just have two sides, because right now the organization's mad at Russell, and Russell seems to be a little bit perturbed with the organization. So something's got to smooth over somewhere, right? So
they'll figure it out. They're all professionals.
Well, that's it.
It's February.
Yeah. Now, Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson, like Deshaun Watson's getting traded. I think we all know that.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, like maybe the saving grace in Russell Wilson not getting traded is Deshaun Watson getting fumbled around by the Texans, because if Houston pulls the trigger on and trades Deshaun Watson, I think it opens the floodgates for transactions. Yeah. Because right now there's so many teams that are in on Deshaun Watson that they don't want to hedge off and try to get somewhere else if they can land Deshaun Watson.
Here's the thing, though. You land Deshaun Watson, that is a lot of your salary cap now being eaten up.
And that's the thing. People are like, oh, I'd rather trade Deshaun for Russell Wilson. I was like, for what? We're in the same boat.
You guys aren't a rebuilder, though. You have a legit team.
But I'm saying we're in the same. Like, we can't fortify the defense. We have to pay Jamal Adams. We've got a bunch of DK Metcalf's contract's coming. Like, we have a bunch of things that they have to.
You got another season for DK Metcalf, though. You got another season.
I probably have 2 seasons left.
Yeah.
He was a later round pick. I think we probably have 4, but still, it's still coming, right?
Yeah.
We have to pay Jamal Adams. We've got some defensive things we have to worry about, you know, and so. Man, they've got I'm sure they've got it. They've got a 5-year plan, a 7-year plan, probably a 10-year plan. Who knows? But, you know, those are things to look at. Mm-hmm. My point is that trading Russell for Deshaun doesn't fix the salary cap problem. It gives you a younger, prolific passer. But I would argue that that's not our problem.
No, it's not.
And some of those losses sat on Russell Wilson. Because he can talk about the protection all he wants to, but they weren't forcing him to throw those ill-timed bullshit passes that ended up those pick sixes, those back-breaking pick sixes, turnovers in the red zone. Those were not under pressure throws.
Well, that was Pete Carroll
getting drugged down. Yeah. Sure, Pete made the call. But Russell threw the ball.
No. Yeah, I understand you. I'm just saying that Pete Carroll was trying to change Russell Wilson's game tactics to make him more of a pocket passer as opposed to a scrambler.
But that's what Russell wants. Russell's been asking for that for 4 years.
Okay.
Russell does not want to be a scrambling quarterback. He wants to be a pocket passing quarterback.
Okay. Well, then that makes more sense then.
Yeah. And that's just the thing. And so the thing that perturbed me the most is that if Russell would have said this after the 2019 season, then we all would have been like, yeah, that's 100% what it is.
Absolutely.
But then you watch what happened in the 2020 season, and then you hear it, and it feels a little bit like,
I think he was playing the blame game.
Excuse.
It was the blame game, yeah.
Not taking accountability, and that's what rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's not him saying, hey, I had a really bad 2020 season.
Well, you just had the most interceptions. Sure, you threw for a lot of yards and you threw for a lot of touchdowns, but the amount of interceptions you had, it was bad. It was bad.
If you go and look at those interceptions, key moments of the game, turning points of the game, pick sixes that decimated any chance of a comeback or destroyed a lead. Almost all of them.
That's crazy.
That's why I get so fired up over the whole thing, because I feel like he had a down season, and then to blame it on a problem that was already there when really that problem had gotten better this year, it just rubs me the wrong way. So
I hear you. Hey, listen, Brad.
I'm still pulling for the guy when he's back next year, because I don't think he goes anywhere. I mean, that's just.
Well, it'll be interesting. This is a good. We're going to get to our predictions there coming up. So let's just put that one on. Let's put that one on pause right now. Hey, I wanted to bring in. As you know, I had to do a pre-recording there. It was a busy week there. Yeah. So I wanted to bring in our special guest that we had there, Thomas Fairey there from Stakester, and it was a great interview. I hope you enjoy this. We'll be right back.
Hey, real quick, Tom, listen to me. I hear you. I'm going to work on my core, and then we're going to talk about it. So we'll make some time in season 2.
Hey, this is Guys Beer Sports. This is Sean speaking here with Tom Fairey. So he is the founder of Stakester. Stakester is the app that allows you to beat your buddies. I did that all wrong. We can start that over again.
Do you know what? And I'm gonna make a joke about something about the way you say it in a minute. So like, you can keep this in if you want. I want the audience to know the first time round you were so afraid to say my name. You're like, Fairey? Wait, has anyone actually got a name that weak? This guy Fairey? That can't be right. Surely. I mean, he looks fairly masculine, but like his name's Fairey. What? Can you imagine what that's like at school? I have the face of a girl and a surname Fairey. And people are like, Tom, why did you get into martial arts and rugby? I'm like, mate, honestly, can you imagine what it's like walking to school the first day and the teacher's like,
you got to be tough. You got to be tough.
You've got to be two things. You've got to be tough or fast. Yeah. One of the two. I've got very thick skin. You know, I'm happy to take the banter. Anyway, sorry. So you butchered it, Sean, but let's keep it.
I sure did.
Let's keep it for the crowd. They want to hear this.
So listen, Stakester is the app that allows you to place bets and beat your friends. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to beat your friends.
You got to beat your buddies. Tom. Yeah. Do you want me to say where it came from? What happened?
I want the full thing, and then I'm going to be asking you about your martial arts after that then too, because I'm very intrigued about that.
Okay, they're intrinsically linked, and when we say martial arts, very loose. I've been trying for years, but never very well. Okay, so I worked in a startup before. Had a pretty standard career. Had some quite senior positions, did pretty well, made some sweet quiche, and but then this dude came to me one day and he said, Tom, yeah, we're starting this company. And we want if you want to come work for us. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Mate, I'm a senior sales guy at this company. I work like at best 2 days a week and I get paid good money. What are you talking about? Give up my money and work for what is this thing you call a startup? This is a joke. And then he convinced me. I was very easily swayed. He basically just said to me, hey, Tom, do you remember the name of that?
Well, the rubber arm?
He said to me, he said, Tom, do you remember the name of the 100th employee? And then he listed like 4 companies. I was like, no. Do you remember the name of the founder? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, are you coming or not? And I was like, okay. So good sell, good pitch. So anyway, so I went to work for this company. startup, and I basically fell in love with this world of like, holy moly, this is amazing. All these people who are like, I mean, it's just like, if you're creative and you're competitive, there's no better environment to work in than at a startup, because you're basically just competing with people all the time. And we had a really great run, and we got to like 200 people in 2 years. It was mad. But I'll be honest, I hated it.
You hated the startup?
I hated it. I hated it. Yeah, I did. Okay. Because I saw what startups were really. I worked at a company where we wore suits. You know, we wore 3-piece suits. We were selling to banks. It's pretty serious. And I'll be walking into the accelerators. I was on the Microsoft accelerator and the PwC one. And you walk in the room, and you got all these dudes in there, like, you know, and they've got branded T-shirts and hoodies. I'm like, fuck, I want a branded T-shirt and hoodie. Seriously, Sean, how do I get this merch? And they're sitting around, they're like, yeah, we just had a brainstorming session. I was like, I don't even know what that is. I want to do one of these things. So anyway, okay, by the way, Sean, you're there on the beer. It's quite late for me, so I'm on the water. You know, I'm running in the morning. I feel like, you know, I'm sorry. I've let you down there a little bit.
It's all good. You know what? I'm also Navy, so I mean, it kind of just flows in my blood veins as it is.
Cheers to combat. Okay. Anyway, so I'm there, so I sacked that off, and well, I say sack off, it's a bit rich. So basically, I decided to leave. I think if you're not giving something 100%, don't do it. That's my attitude towards things. If you're not giving your people you work with 100%, you shouldn't be there. It's not their job to carry you. You're there to help people around you. Anyway, this is when we get into the good bit of the story. So I'm a bit miserable, and I'm into my martial arts. Now, I've been a Muay Thai guy for most of my martial arts, we'll put in inverted commas, career. Like, I had some success at karate and a little bit of Muay Thai, but really, I'm a stand-up guy, and but I'm old. And so I was like, my joints are starting to make funny noises. And I tell you what, concussion ain't no fun. So I decided to start getting into jiu-jitsu. And a good friend of mine, who I did some stand-up with a couple of times, happened to be a guy who competed at the ADCCs, which is like the Olympics of jiu-jitsu.
Right.
13-time national champion, pretty solid guy. And he's like, Tom, why don't you come and roll sometime? I'm like, yeah, but let's do it. So I got into jiu-jitsu, and anyone who's done jiu-jitsu knows that it is humbling, to say the least. You literally get on the mat and you're like, I'll work out, I lift some weights, and then these children are just making me tap them like a bongo because they're just tapping me out all the time. My masculinity disappeared instantly. It is a legit superpower.
Do not feel bad about that one bit. So I was talking just a couple of weeks ago. We had our buddy here, Reed, on, and he's an MMA guy as well. He was in the MMA world, and he was saying like how he had a Marine recon dude that was one of his good friends come in and roll with some of these guys, and he was tapping left, right, and center. So yeah, there's no shame in that.
It's bad. These guys, I'm lighting up in the ring, and then they get on the mat and they just make me feel like a child. It's insane. Anyway, so I'm getting really into so 6 or 7 months in, like I'm training fairly a lot. I'm not good by any means, but anyway, like, I'm awful, and I'm like white belt -3 or something. And this guy, but anyway, this Russian dude comes in, random, and he is, we'll call him Hench, okay? You guys got it.
We're going into the story here. We're going into the story.
We're in the story. We'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
I'm in the story. I'm in it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in there right now, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, we're in the Matrix. And he's got one of those vests that goes in at the back. Not ones that go straight down. I think where like it opens up around your shoulder blades.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so he's like a V. He's got a V.
He's a big guy. Yeah. In England, we call those a wife beater. Yeah, that's what you wear when you.
No, you call a wife beater anywhere. So you're talking about what? That's a wife beater all day, everywhere.
Okay, right. That's just what it's called. And he's got one of those, and he comes over and he goes, "I recognize you. You're winning competition." And I'm like, and by the way, that is an exact accent. Okay, if he was here now, he'd be like, "Oh, that's very good. You sound exactly like me." Anyway, so he's like. He says, I recognize you'll win competition. And all the guys around me are like, shut the fuck up. Do not say that around him. He is arrogant enough as it is. And they're right, I am. And ironically, it was for Muay Thai. He'd seen me win the competition, not for jiu-jitsu. I'm like, yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I did win a competition. He goes, but you look so weak. Instantly, my heart breaks. Now, I'm not familiar particularly with Russian culture. I'll be honest with you. So I was quite surprised by the exchange that followed. And he said, well, how about the West Spot sometime? And I'm like, all right, bro. fine. Yeah, let's do it. And he's like, how about we do it right now? And I'm like, okay. Everyone around me is like, who the fuck is this guy? Okay. And I'm like, look, it's jiu-jitsu. The worst that can happen is a tap and he lets go, right? Do you know what I mean?
All
Like,
right,
it's
what's the size of this guy? Like, what are we talking about
right.
height-wise?
So, all right.
Are we going stone? Are we going stone because we're talking England, or are we talking pounds here?
Okay, right. So first of all, I'm 5'11" 3/4.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a height-wise. Let me just quickly do a conversion. Okay, I'm not a big guy, but I'm pretty lean. I'm 165 pounds.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
All right. So I'm in fight shape, but I'm not a big guy.
Right.
And he's like, I'd say like 95 kgs in UK. So that's like
180 to 200.
200, 200,
Yeah.
210.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And he's like 6'2". He's a lot bigger than me. Okay. And all gun, no leg, classic. Yeah. Essentially
he's a bar star. Is that what he is?
He's the kind of guy you see on the rugby pitch and you're like, mate, you are in trouble. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You are not walking through me. You think those guns are going to help you out. They are not. Okay. Anyway, so he's
Hollywood. It's all Hollywood muscles.
It's all Hollywood, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gets on there, and he's like, "What?" He said, "Well, maybe we do it for money." And I'm like, "All right, and I'm feeling a little bit intimidated. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretending like it was fine, but I was a little bit intimidated. But obviously, I'm not going to tell anyone that. I'll keep that secret.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he steps up, and for those of you who listen, they'll get this. But the fact is, jiu-jitsu is a legit science, right? It is. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, someone who's been doing it for 2 months is going to you up. Okay, strength. And then basically I literally just sit on my bum. Yeah, don't pull guard. Don't even worry about trying to grapple with him. Yeah, he just sits and comes straight into the middle of my guard. I'll wrap him up into a triangle straight away. And he taps out straight away. Like, and we're talking seconds. And he's like, you cheat, you use your legs. I'm like, no, buddy, that's how the game works. Anyway, everyone's like,
what did he think he was going into?
I know.
What did he think he was going into?
I think it's like it's traditional. He's a bigger guy, and he's there. And he was actually, in fairness to him, credit to him, the guy, Alexei, actually quite a nice guy. Yeah, I met him since. But anyway. He storms off in a sulk, and as he's going away, I'm like, hey, where's my money, bro? And he says, oh no, I pay you next time. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So I get my phone out and I'm flicking through my phone to try and find an app, and then literally that was the moment the Stakester was born. I was like, fuck. All the time when I was growing up and I was a kid, I'm still really a kid now, everything, I would bet my mates everything. I'm faster than you. Even if I'm not, I bet you that I'm faster than you. I can do more pull-ups than you. Literally everything.
You're talking to me, or you're talking to your?
I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you as well, Sean. I'm telling everyone.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. I love you, Tom. I love you. This is
Sean, if you want to race, Sean, it's on. All right?
You'll smoke me in a race.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, and we'll do it for money. Anyway, so I'm like, I'm like, geez, but I can't do this anymore because I don't carry any money. Mm. So I go home and I start thinking about it. And, my wife at the time is obviously, she hates me. Of course she does. Anybody who spent more than 10 minutes with me does. She just happens to have had my kids. So she doesn't have a choice. Anyway, so I'm there and I'm like, look, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, what, there's got to be a bigger market. It can't be just the sports, right? I'm like, what about my brother? Okay, he's a loser. He plays video games, right? So like when I was growing up, I was like, look, he was one of the first ever pro gamers. When I was growing up, you know what it's like, Sean. If you're in a house where your older brother does something, that's what losers do. All right, my brother played games. They were for losers. I'm not a gamer.
Basically, I'm the older brother in my family.
Mate, you're the loser. You're fat.
Come on now.
Your younger brother, he is cooler than you. Okay. All right, and he's just better than you. So
yeah, I have a younger sister, but my cousin, who's
your sister
kind
too.
Of like, she has to be, right? Yeah,
she has to be. So that's real.
You just met me for the first time, but you've already judged me just from that. I love it.
I love it. I judged you straight away when I got on the call. I was like, look, this guy's got an ice hockey picture in the background.
Yeah.
And ice hockey's funny in the UK because so my best buddy, who's one of my co-founders,
right.
I talk about the hierarchy of sport, and you're a sports guy, so you get this. When you go to school, all right, okay, there are basically 2 sports in the UK that you want to be good at. Okay, they are rugby, or we call it football, you call it soccer.
Footy, yeah, soccer
All right,
here,
okay.
yeah.
In the US, you're like, you're tall, you're playing basketball, okay? You're stacked, you're playing American football. If you're not one of those, you're playing baseball, right? But you got those 3, right? Okay. But then you start getting into the hierarchy. If you're in the top tier, that's fine. You can do that. But then you're like, oh, I'm shit at these games. Yeah. So then you go to the next one. You're like, oh yeah, but I'm good at tennis. Yeah. And then you work your way down. Now in the UK, by the time you get to ice hockey, you have worked your way through at least 30 sports.
Oh, come on now, man. Come on.
Hey, you played badminton, you've tried table tennis, and then you're like, we've got.
I think you've taken a step too far with the badminton, man.
It's too much.
I'm following you, and then all of a sudden you go into the badminton.
What do you do? I always think that. What do you do if you go on a date and a guy says to you, "Yeah, so I'm really good at badminton." You're like, sexy. This guy. Let me go and brag to my friends about it. Yeah.
All right, Carrie Underwood is married to a hockey player, though. So
Carrie Underwood is well. Look, in the US, it's legit, right? In the US, it's there because we have pretend cold over here. Like it's currently -2, and the whole nation.
But Owen Nolan is like one of the biggest exports you guys had. Well, not the UK, but Scotland.
Who?
I remember Owen Nolan. Yeah, he came over.
Who the is Owen Nolan?
yeah. It was back in the 2000s, and he was from Scotland, and he played professional hockey for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, so
I've literally never heard of this guy. He probably gets paid more than every sportsman in the UK. And they're like, oh yeah, Owen Nolan. I've literally no idea who he is. Anyway, that's bad, isn't it? Sorry, Owen. If you won't be listening, I'm completely insignificant. But if you are, I'm really sorry. He's Scottish, so he's got a thick accent. Yeah, I like the ice hockey. But like in Scotland, we've got ice, so it's fine. Anyway, sorry. Enough of the accents. So anyway, I decided to move into gaming. So I call up my good friend of mine in the US, and I'm like, it's good friend Monica. She was a bit connected to the game. She's doing some gaming PR, right. And I'm like, Monica, look, I've got this idea. Now, Monica does CrossFit, so she's a dick. Like, who decides to do that? I always think to myself, like, CrossFit's another one. It's like, you can't be the best at exercising. You can't. It's not a sport. It's not. Now, I can imagine I'll pick up some hate for this. But like, you can be the best at a sport. You can't be the best at the prep for the sport.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. CrossFitters are a totally different breed of people altogether.
I know. It's like when you can imagine people in the cage. You can imagine Dustin Poirier looking at Conor after he's giving him a whooping, and Conor going, "Yeah, but you know what? I'm really good at the gym." Yeah, he's not saying that. He's not saying that. Just actually, in fairness, he's my hero. I fucking love Conor. I love him. I love him so much. Please come back. Please.
Oh, he's coming back. He's out for 6 months there. I mean, he looked pretty bad there. His leg is pretty messed up.
I love him.
He'll be back.
I can't watch enough of that guy. Anyway, sorry,
we're getting off the rails here for sure.
I'm the worst guest you've ever
had. But he does.
You
know what? There's parallels between you and him. Because both of you bet on each other. You know what I mean? Bet on yourselves.
Yes. Well, you're exactly right. So we were like, sorry, to go back to the story. Yeah. So anyway, this girl, Monica, she's like, well, have you met my fiance? And I was like, Monica, I don't give a fuck about your personal life. Okay. Why? Yeah. We're not that close. She's we're like, he's the co-creator of Grand Theft Auto.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, sorry, Monica. Did I mention I'm your best mate? I'm sorry. I really like you. I was literally like, well, so I said, I'm in London. I said, what's he doing tomorrow night at 6? She goes, what, do you want to do a Zoom? And I'm like, no, I'm looking at Skyscanner. I can be in New York tomorrow night at 6. So I hop on a plane. I go over to New York. I sit down with the man. I'm like, hey, Gary. And he's English, so he's incredibly intelligent. And I said, Gary, here's my idea. And I think we should be doing this for gaming, because if you're playing against some dude in, I don't know, Wisconsin, and I'm over in London, I'm not sending that dude my bank details, but I'm going to hustle. I'm going to play him. I want to make this more entertaining. I want to win. Yep. And he was like, I'm in. So I'll tell you what, actually, let me tell you a funny story. I'm going off on my own here. I'm basically like monologuing. I'm the worst guest you've ever had, Sean. Sean, I'm so sorry.
This is our show. This is our show. Seriously.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Oh, no. I don't script anything. I like to get whatever. Good. And then I'm busy afterwards.
And then I'm busy. Okay, right, fine. And anyway, so I'll tell you this. This is a true story. The rest was true as well. But I'm not supposed to say this. The VCs always say, don't tell them the story about the Russians. And I'm like, I'm telling them. Anyway, so they're like, and my VCs are Russian. And they're like, you cannot tell the story about the Russian. It makes us look so bad. And I'm like, I'm telling them, mate, I'll beat them. Everyone loves the story of beating a Russian. Everyone loves it. Have you ever watched a movie? Yeah. It was like Rocky IV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You have to beat Ivan Drago. You've got to. Yeah.
I don't think the guy's name wasn't Ivan, unfortunately, but let's pretend it was. Anyway, so we were like,
was his last name Drago?
Yeah.
We'll just go with it. Okay.
Science facts. So anyway, so I'm like, how do I test this? How do I test that this is actually going to be real? This thing, right? And I have this theory, like, Sean, you remember this, like when you were younger, right? You ever played pool for money?
Yeah.
Of course you have, right? Okay. And I expect judging you as I am, you probably lost. And I am, and I'm like, so I get on the, so anyway, but the thing about playing for money, right? First of all, as a heads up, put this out there, I hate gambling. I literally don't understand the concept of why I would put my money on something I can't control. All right, I just don't get it, okay? Like, I can't make my rugby team, okay, in the UK called Saracens, I can't make them play better. I can't. Right. I can't make Connor beat Poirier. I can't make that happen.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah,
so I've never said that. Yeah. However, I'm not an idiot. If I've got money on a game, holy sugar, I prefer it. I'm having so much more fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay? And, I do grown-up gambling now with Bitcoin. Just grown up gambling. But it's like, it's much more exciting when you've got some skin in the game. And so I was like, but what if I could create something whereby I could do that just for skills stuff, just for skill-based pursuits? What about when I'm in control? If I'm in control of the outcome, is it more exciting if I've got money on it or I've got something at stake? It might not be money. It might be a prize. It might be a dare. Don't know what it is. So I run this experiment. I call on my buddies. I'm like, guys, you're coming over to my house tonight. Beers are on me. We're playing some games. And they're like, okay, beers are on Tom. I'm coming. So they come around and I buy these shitty little heart rate monitors off of Amazon. They were like $20 each. They were awful. And I take my laptop, I make a little spreadsheet, and then I make everyone wear the heart rate monitor. I said, Tom, what the fuck is this? I said, guys, just bear with me, okay? All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll cut you some shares in the end. I'm not going to. That's all lies. They're not getting it. But they got the beer. Anyway, so along the way, we start playing FIFA.
Yeah.
And a bit of Madden. Don't worry. We're
you got into Madden too? I'm actually impressed. Okay.
We got a little bit of Madden in there. The most complicated game of all time. God, who understands it? No one. It's not. I don't tell people like American football. It literally lasts for like 1 second at a time. Yeah, it's a little. It's horrendous. Anyway, sorry. You should play
American football. What are you talking about? The Super Bowl just happened. You can't be saying this. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying. I'm a rugby guy, so I like real sports.
Hey, I like rugby as well. There's nothing wrong with rugby. Problem is, though, is that let's face it, the NFL knows how to merchandise and sell.
They do. It's a show. I went to see a couple of games when I was living in the US, and damn, they were good times.
Did you ever go when you were in the UK?
No. It's like trying to get like a ticket there. It's like trying to get a COVID vaccine. It's basically impossible. Yeah. You can't do it. Yeah.
We're talking about teams like Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going over there.
You can only get a ticket if you're like over 80 and you're on the edge. It's impossible. You can't get out of it. Okay. It's really hard. Anyway, so I'm looking about this, and I was just like, oh, holy man, this is mad. Like, when people weren't playing for money, like we start playing regularly, and everyone's like, 60 to 80 heart rate, whatever. You start playing for beer or pizza,
right,
or a dare,
right,
or money, and I've got people going up to like 125. It just matters more.
It does.
Like that's the concept of entertainment for me. And so I created a company where you can play games with other people and you can put some money in the pot, but you can only back yourself to win. Okay.
So are you talking about strictly like things that you're in control of? So like not sporting events, not anything like that?
Only something you participate in.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can control the outcome. So you can't do like rolling a dice. Okay. But we could do chess. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I got you now.
We could do golf. Yeah. Again. Do you play
But
golf?
D&D, no. No Dungeons
D&D.
and Dragons.
No. And I mean, just generally speaking, just stop playing. All right. Okay. Just stop. All right, that's enough from you. Okay. It's enough from you on the D&D. Okay. All right. I'm learning a lot about you here, Sean. I'm learning a lot about you. I don't know what level 5 warlock you are or whatever.
Oh, I don't play.
He says now. He's like, yeah, I don't play. Yeah,
I don't play.
Yeah. I've got a tattoo of some kind of wizard on my arm. But yeah, I don't play. Just
I don't play.
Just drunk one time. But yeah, no, not D&D. Anything that's got chance in it, you can't do. You have to be able to control the outcome. And so sports and esports. Yeah. And that's the jam. That's the story of how we came about.
I love this. I mean, basically then, so it's anything that you're yourself can control.
Yep.
And how does it work? Like, does it go into escrow? Like,
yeah, kind of, effectively.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is you chuck your money in, it goes into a pot, and then we pay the winner, right?
I love this. I love this concept.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, it's going well. We're doing pretty well. We're growing thousands and thousands every month. People are getting stoked. We're getting more games, more sports. We're getting some cool partnerships. It's a pretty cool time for us, actually. It's quite humbling because, as you can tell, I'm grossly incompetent. So it's a bit of a surprise. But it's been good fun.
So, all right, this is all great news. I was really wondering there if it had to do with a little bit of sports betting as well, but from the sounds of it, it's strictly things that you are in control of. But you can, if you're playing basketball 1-on-1 or you're playing footy and you're playing there, right? It's just like you could be betting on yourself, like I'm going to get 2 goals in this game or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it has to be a 1-on-1, right? Because you got to be completely true. Problem is, if you were like with just one guy playing in a team and a team of 11, that wouldn't really make sense. But if you and I had a 1-on-1 of basketball, which I would not win because I am English, and even if I was the best player in England, I would be worse than the worst player in America. We are not good. We are not a good basketball nation here. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I am. I tell you what. I played a little bit of high school. Yeah. I remember I went over to Camp America. Yeah, like every posh English boy. And I went over to Camp America. And they're like, hey, Tom, do you want to come play some ball? I'm like, yeah, mate, I play at school all the time. And I've literally got children who are basically fetal, beating me, making a mockery of me. And they're like, Tom, do you want to go and play in the kids' game? Like, you're not really making a difference here. Okay.
I like, you know what? I'm growing to appreciate footy. I am. It was very difficult for me. I've been watching MLS.
I have a huge problem with football.
With MLS?
Well, just generally in football, I have a huge problem with it. Okay.
Like, what are we talking about? Are we talking about American football?
If we're just chewing the fat here about sport, right? Let me hit you with this. Okay, right.
Okay.
I have a huge problem with team sports where one person can win a game. Yeah. Okay.
How do you figure that? Okay.
Right. Okay. So if you take football, right? And you get someone like a guy called Suarez. He's this Uruguayan guy. And he's in the World Cup. And he's like their only decent player. And he basically makes the team and gets them through the group stages and gets them into quarterfinals, right? Okay, he's just like makes a huge difference. I don't know about American football. But this dude, Peyton Manning, right, okay? And Tom Brady, those guys, they seem to be winning a lot. Yep. They seem to be making quite a huge difference to the teams they go to. Those kind of sports I worry about because they become too dependent on one person. I like the sports where like you can't have one person make a difference. If that person gets chopped and changed, same results. Yeah. Right.
So like you're talking about baseball? Well, baseball, I mean, here's the thing, that you can still make a big difference if you got a guy hitting that ball, but you still need a good pitcher and you need good relievers and all that good stuff. I hear what you're saying.
Right? Yeah, basketball. Like, Jordan was only as good as Pippen, right? So you need to have.
Well, that's exactly. You always need. Yeah, you need your Pippen to your Jordan for sure. Look at
Whereas
you,
when you got
Tom.
people like Pele or like Maradona, or you've got like some mega marquee player in your football team, you build it around that player.
I never understood England, though. England should have won a whole bunch of World Cups.
That's enough.
They should have won a whole bunch of World
Sean,
Cups. When I think about
Sean,
Rooney and I think about Beckham, I think about all these great guys you guys had. You guys should have won. You guys should have won a few.
Sean, I feel like you're taking this too far now. I feel like this has become racist.
I stepped over the line.
I feel like you've started to attack my people. I feel that's what happened here. I feel like this is a declaration of war. Okay, if Donald Trump was my president, my prime minister, he'd be on this straight. He'd be like, I'm in. It's time to go to war. I'll go wherever they vote for me.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Listen, Tom, I'm thoroughly impressed with this there. I mean, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well. I'm going to be following this company because I really am interested in it. And I would love to have you on another time there. You know, I don't know if you're ever interested in coming on there and speaking about a little bit of sports and how your app is going as well.
I'd love
to. You're a busy man.
I mean, anyone who's I've got 2 kids. And it's in lockdown in the UK. And my one piece of advice for everyone who's got kids during lockdown is my one piece of advice. Well, 2 actually: adoption and contraception. Yeah, those are the 2 things. So just don't do it. It's just a terrible thing to happen. You know, like I love my kids. I do not like them. They are. I mean.
But that's the way it's supposed to be, though, Tom. That's the way it's supposed to be.
They are. I mean, I'm just saying. Sean, you got kids?
Yeah, but he's all grown up. So
okay, well, sorry for you, isn't it?
I went through all that. Yeah.
Everyone is listening here. They're like, "Holy Tom, he's talking the truth."
I'm sure real. There's people right now just
real. No, they're really. Luckily, they're. They take after me, so they're really beautiful. So hopefully they'll become models and pay loads of money to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully by the time they're old enough, I can just mooch off their success. Yeah.
I'm very impressed with this. I'm going to be promoting this, and this is going to be coming out on Sunday, just to let you know.
I respect that.
All right. And I hope you come back on because you're entertaining and who knows? I mean, it sounds like you know your UFC, so we could definitely talk that.
Dude, I will chew the fat about UFC all day. Okay, big fights. What we got this weekend? This weekend we've got Usman Burns. I believe. That's right. This weekend. Okay,
That's
right. So I'm going.
That was supposed to happen in the summer.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Usman. Not a fan. Yeah. Not because I'm not a fan of the way he fights. I think he's a bit of a fight canceller. He's kind of like it's not exciting to watch. Yeah, he's got good work rate. It's not very exciting to watch. But I don't, for me, it's an entertainment business. Like I like people who are gonna, light people up, and they're gonna give me a lot of fun in the build up. And I don't get that with Usman, right? I don't get that.
You must have hated George St. Pierre back in the day, then.
Well, I'm not. Well, again, George St. Pierre is okay once you got like further down the line because you're just like, oh my god, he's still so amazing. It's such an art form to watch. But that's what I love about people who put on a show. Like I like the villains. I like Covington. I want him to fight again because I like.
Oh,
I love him. It's just the drama he brings with him.
I thought that was the most stupidest thing I ever heard when he was challenging LeBron James. I'm like, but look, I get it, but I get it.
But I get it, and I love that. That's what made Conor so great. It's such a shame this fight where Conor wasn't the Conor we wanted, and it's an exciting year. Next fight that's really exciting, Adesanya, Blankovic. That's going to be sweet.
That's going to be great. That's going to be great. I feel sorry for Blachowicz because he just won that title.
I don't think he's going to hold it.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. Israel Adesanya is like an unreal talent. Unreal.
Well, it's great because I come from a Muay Thai background. And so we love it because we're like, finally, someone who is a genuinely technical striker working in MMA. So like you watch the strikes and like, this is Muay Thai. This is what we want to see. And so like, it's really great to watch. And everyone's like, oh yeah, no, I'll take him down. Will you? I'm super excited to see a bit more about Chandler. Here's my top tip for the year. I reckon this is gonna.
You like that fight, eh? You like that fight.
This is what I think is gonna happen. Okay, this is me showing I know nothing about sport. I think that Poirier takes the trilogy against Conor. Yep, I think he takes it because he's a money man. He needs some coin. He's probably if you got a choice between making a couple of mil in against Conor or making $1 million for a title, what are you going to take? Yeah,
you want to make the money, right? You want to make the money. I mean,
Thanks,
why do you think Ben Askren is fighting Jake Paul?
Jake Paul, exactly.
money.
Yeah, which Askren sadly will not win because he is the worst boxer of all time. Is it
a boxing match? I thought it was like
it's a boxing match. So sad because if it's an MMA match, like Jake's going to get ruined because it's the Heisman Trophy winner. Like he's an amazing wrestler, like one of the best ever in MMA.
Yeah.
But like to sit boxing, I don't think he's ever really knocked anyone down with a punch in MMA. I don't think he ever has. Askren.
Well, didn't he knock out? What's his face? The ex-champ there,
Robbie Lawler.
Yes. Didn't he knock him out? Didn't he knock him out?
I'm on Herb Dean's side here. I think he did. I think the arm went limp.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the point is, so I think like you've got my things. I reckon, but I reckon this is what happens.
Yeah.
Poirier takes McGregor. McGregor wins that rematch. I think McGregor hadn't trained properly. He rocked him in the first round. He didn't follow up.
He did.
Yeah, he didn't.
I mean, he was in that fight. He was in that fight.
Yeah. But he wasn't in that fight. He wasn't in it in the brain. So I think.
Well, how can you be if you produced your whiskey? You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, the guy's got 80 million sitting in his stacks, right? I mean, you got to be thinking. I mean, this guy Dustin Poirier has been doing nothing but fighting, so you got to do the exact same thing. And I hope
don't fight. True story.
I know. I'm hoping the Eagle shows back up, though. I am. I hope he thinks that I want to make some coin and come out there and fight one of these guys.
That's what I hope. Yes, I think he beats. Anyway, I think he beats Poirier. I think, but I think Chandler's the next champ. That's my.
He looks good. He looks so good.
I've been banging on about that guy for about 5 years, and it really pisses me off when people say, "Oh yeah, he's good." I'm like, "Yeah, mate. I've been saying for years. Come on, Dana, get this guy in. He's amazing. He's amazing." But yeah, so that's my predictions. And you got any predictions of your own there, big guy? Do you reckon John Jones takes Adesanya? Well, obviously he's got Stipe or Ngannou first. Yeah,
either Stipe or Ngannou. And I think Stipe is going to be able to beat Ngannou again because Stipe is he's an all around. He's an everyday guy. The guy goes in, still works his job as a firefighter, cleaning toilets. You know what I mean? Like doing all that stuff, keeping himself humble. And he's just lights out. Ngannou, if he touches him, yeah, he goes to sleep. But same could be said the exact same way. John Jones takes the title, though. I don't think there's any stopping Jones. Jones looks like a freak of nature right now at 250. Absolute freak of nature. So, to me, I'm thinking John Jones is the next heavyweight champion. But having said that, there's a lot of people coming down. Like when I just saw, what's his face, big boy there, the Russian big boy there, Volkov, just beat Overeem. Now, I understand Overeem's 40. I understand that. But you're still talking about a guy that's 6'7". He looked a little bit faster. He took Derek Lewis to the brink. Lewis got lucky with that last minute punch there to knock him out. So I'm actually interested in that Curtis Blades fight too. Curtis Blades and Derek Lewis there, because I think that's your next heavyweight title fight after Jones and Stipe or Ngannou. So
yeah, I think I'm going to call it out. Now I'm going to disagree with that. I thought Volkov looked pretty average against Overeem. I think he looked all right, but I think but I thought considering Overeem's 40, he's just looking for a paycheck. I didn't think that Volkov looked all that. I thought it looked okay, but like you get tagged by Overeem, it's game over.
It is.
Right, do you know what I mean? And Overeem is not as quickest, or he's wily. Like he's still got the timing, but like he was landing shots, and I feel like if Overeem's getting those shots in, Ngannou's getting those shots in, Volkov doesn't get through that. I think with you. Yeah. I think the problem I've got there is the Stipe. Like I just think he's got some miles on the clock. Right, he's taken some shots.
He does. He has
from my man Cormier. He's taken some shots, and if he neutralizes, basically, if you get Ngannou on the ground, you might as well just like give Ngannou just like, what do I do now? What happens now? So like if he can get him down, but like if he decides to stand and trade, Ngannou just gets better every fight, and he's so terrifying. But if he fights John Jones, mate, there's only one champ.
Yeah.
And I think he stays there till retirement. I think it's just like, Maybe he goes back down and fights Izzy for like.
Why? There's
why
well
bother?
that would be the only thing I think that would bring him back down to light heavy is
The cash.
is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean,
and they're building for it.
Yeah. Oh man,
I've taken up too much of time. Look,
you know
guys,
what? I've thoroughly enjoyed this, Thomas.
Thanks, man.
Can't wait till this airs. You've been a great guest. Hopefully, we get to see you again. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. And we're back. Holy smokes, Tom! Thank you again for coming on. Great discussions. I know you had a little bit of fun at my expense, but it's okay. I mean, you're British.
Tom,
we'll
that's
let
why
it
we
go.
bonded, Tom. That's why I want to talk to you. I appreciate it. I think Sean really needs to feel our tag team. So just, that make you nervous? Valentine's Day, Sean, be a little loving.
It's a handicap match. I'm used to it now, though. I'm used to these handicap matches. You know, I'm like Andre the Giant walking around there.
Okay. Feel like your tolerance is a little less than giant worthy, but that's fine.
Listen, this is 9% beer. You hush now.
Not 17 or 170 or whatever the giant was drinking. It's probably giant light, which I think means normal.
True story, man. True story. I'm going to tell you this. So when I was at Whidbey Island going to TRICARE, there was a doctor there. I'm not going to say his name, just to protect it, because I didn't ask him for permission. But I remember he was we were talking, and he thought that I had a slight case of gigantism. And I'm like, what? I'm the smallest giant you'll ever see.
Crazy.
It's just because I have a massive forehead, some big shoulders. My body's big, like, you know, like
You're a big guy. Yeah.
I'm a big guy. So I'm like gigantism.
You're like a giant elf.
I'd be the elf. That's it.
Elf of the giant world, everybody. Sean Malcolm.
Okay. Let's move on because wow. Oh man, I'm tearing up here. All right. So before we brought Tom on, we were talking about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Brad,
just trades in general, right? And just public,
Yeah.
maybe public demands is a better way to put it.
yeah. But it seems to be now, this is the new norm. Like, and at first I was like, what are these athletes doing? You would never see this. You would never see this. It would always be hush hush under the, rug, everything like that.
Yeah, you hear about it post, right?
Yeah. Now it seems, and I don't know if I'm against it. It seems like players are feeling that I'm a commodity. I have a limited amount of time to play. I want to win championships and maximize what I can do. Let me get to that position. You know what I mean? Let me get to that team. Let me get to wherever. And it's interesting that it's happening now more and more, especially this season. It's happening on a more and more frequent.
It's happening because people are being obliged, right? And they probably should be. And I think they see themselves as less of a commodity and more as the talent, more as the reason, and more as it's not that different from the music industry.
Right.
Where we had, record labels notoriously just ripping people off and not
pimping their artists.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Then you saw some artists take control of their things and make some money. Now you're seeing a lot of them do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're seeing more friendly record companies that are run by former artists or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing that shift in sports, and I think rightly so, right? The people that make millions, or in some cases of these sports owners, billions off the backs of other people's labor, and not to say that they're not paid handsomely, because they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Most professional athletes make a good living only for a short period of time.
It is, it's very rare to see the 20-year career, right?
But the owners make real money all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the balance of power is there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have a union, but I think the union's failing them in a lot of regards.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to pick it up now, right? That's what we're seeing is
Yeah.
the power shift happening. And I'm not opposed to it. I'm more upset about how owners are treating the situation. I think we should just call it what it is.
Yeah. I really like on our vlog on Friday what you stated there about JJ Watt and the way that it was handled by the ownership group. And it's funny because like it made my wife and I talk about it as well. And you know, like it's the perception, right? It's the perception of treating people differently. And I still don't want to go right out there and attack anybody, but
Well, and here's something I think that is culturally something that we're watching and seeing happen is there's an older guard in leadership, right?
Yeah.
There's an older generation there, and they do not understand technology or how it works. We're watching it play out in several different areas of culture,
right.
and they don't understand the reach that some of these athletes have or that some of these statements they have are.
Mhm.
This is not 1986 or 1994 where you can just put out a press release and no one knows the difference. Now they're putting out press releases and then they're showing the video evidence that is counter to that. And then
Right.
they're quiet. You can't have that
Mhm.
because that gives a real negative perception of what is really going on. That's what billows the smoke out.
Mhm.
Because you're telling me that I mean, we've heard the rumor that Deshaun Watson hasn't talked to the McNair family and won't pick up the phone when the coaches call or in those things, right?
I
That feels
think
like
he's
a weird job to me. I think he went in and said, "I want you to trade me.
Yeah.
I'm done here."
Yeah.
And they keep trying to call him, and he's not picking up the phone because they're not honoring his request.
Mhm.
JJ Watt would have likely done the same thing,
Mhm.
but instead they just granted him his release because it saved them some money.
Yeah.
It feels a bit abusive. It feels a bit narcissistic. It feels a lot of things.
Well, it feels out of
Very
touch.
blurry. It's very blurry when you try to put business logic in with
Mhm.
humanity.
Now, if you're there and you're thinking as a business owner, right? And you're thinking, okay, out of my two commodities, which one's more valuable to me? It's going to be Deshaun Watson. It's not going to be JJ Watt. JJ Watt's old. JJ
Yeah.
Watt. I mean, I'm not saying he's broken down. I'm not saying he's a great player. I'm just
JJ
saying,
Watt's going to go do what Chris Long was able to do,
yeah, yeah,
right? He's going to go
absolutely.
somewhere where he can get on a snap count, play 20, 30 snaps a game on passing downs, just
Yeah.
destroy, wreak havoc,
Mhm.
probably win a ring. Like, it, JJ Watt's in a good spot. JJ Watt's not what he was, but he's definitely
No,
not a slouch, right?
But
He's
here's the thing. Some of the possible places for him to land. I was just having a look at this. It's crazy. I mean, when you think about some of the possible places, I heard Cleveland.
He's going to
That would be something. I mean, if
it
he
would
were
be,
to
but
go,
he's going to Pittsburgh.
you really think it's Pittsburgh, eh? Because I'll tell you, here's the places that they think, right?
Yep.
And these all right. So the top two, Tampa Bay and Kansas City.
Yep.
That's top two.
But that's just lazy journalism.
Yeah, yeah. And then you have the Buffalo Bills, who would definitely would want something like that on their defense. The Browns, because Myles Garrett can't do it all by himself. Titans, the
here's the thing.
Colts.
The dream of all these players growing up was to play in the NFL.
Right.
You have three brothers in the same league, right?
Right.
TJ and Derek Watt were able to team up last year in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You're telling me that now that JJ has a say for probably the final time in his career where he goes, and his brothers are both contractually obligated to be in Pittsburgh, I think JJ Watt gets on the phone and says, "Hey, my brothers make this roster next year. I'm coming in."
Yeah, but here's the thing, Brad. The quarterback situation over there, is Roethlisberger going to be the guy to lead you to a Super Bowl?
Matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I think he wants a ring.
JJ Watt, he does, but I would argue that being able to play with your brothers at the highest level ever would be a nice parting gift because no one's guaranteed that ring.
I hear you. I hear you. Look at this man. Look at this man right back here. Look at this man right back here.
It's not a guarantee of a ring. If he goes to Kansas City, it's not a guarantee of a ring.
You see this guy right there, number 9,
Yeah.
Gordy Howe, right? He ended up winning some Stanley Cups in Detroit. Okay, became the number 1 player to ever play the game till Gretzky smashed all of his records. That man played around so long that he played with his kids, but he did that after he won championships.
But I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is that JJ doesn't have that window. He just doesn't.
So then it becomes,
you have to see what he wants. And I think that he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild.
No,
I think he wants to have fun, and that fun is either winning a championship or maybe it's playing with his brothers. And I'm just saying, it won't surprise me if he ends up in Pittsburgh.
Listen, Pittsburgh's not a rebuild by any stretch of the imagination. Their defense is awesome.
You know what?
They got great weapons.
I think we can see Roethlisberger retire in the next 2 weeks because there's a lot of rumor running around that him and Pouncey had a deal that they were both going to retire at the same time. That's been
the Pouncey twins are gone. That's right. Yeah,
retired yesterday. It's not going to surprise me if he goes, but that's not going to be the thing because Pittsburgh's heel wasn't Roethlisberger's play. It was those receivers not showing up to go. And there's plenty of quarterbacks out there they could restock with.
Oh, yeah, easily.
So you get Bud Dupree back in Pittsburgh from that ACL injury, right? Because they took a little dive defensively when Bud went down.
Yeah.
You add J.J. Watt. You go spend your money that you're going to get in relief from Roethlisberger retiring, Pouncey retiring. You get yourself a good center. You bring in a quarterback. You have your healthy receivers and your healthy running backs again. Pittsburgh's going to be back on top of the AFC. They're as good as a Super Bowl contender as there is right now.
They are. I still think Buffalo and Kansas are going to have a say in that.
Listen, first of all, it's Kansas City. Stop disrespecting the team like that.
Oh, sorry, Kansas City. Sorry. Yeah.
They don't even play in Kansas. They play in Missouri.
I know. Yeah.
Like a double shot at them to call them that. It's like everybody's calling them the Buffalo Bills.
Listen, Kansas City and Buffalo Bills were the number 1 and number 2 in the AFC.
Sure, but
no, they are. It's not sure. They are.
Okay, maybe
Browns maybe number 3.
Wow, maybe.
Yeah,
but Pittsburgh's in the conversation for 4 or 5.
Absolutely.
What have we seen this year?
I know Tampa showed you what they could do. Right?
The playoffs, anything's possible.
And it's still amazing that Washington had the best chance to actually knock them off. You know what I mean? Washington.
I think that's the thing. It's going to be fascinating to watch. But I think J.J. Watt does want to play for a contender. I think Pittsburgh is a contender. And the icing on that cake is that his 2 brothers play there.
Yeah.
You tell me that that if Giannis had his chance that he wouldn't bring his 3rd brother to play in Milwaukee?
Oh, yeah. I think so. I think
it's a big deal. I think if you're at that level and you've grown up playing with your brothers at all these other levels and you get a chance to do it at the highest level,
and
give your parents that gift of watching you play all the same. They can just watch one game on Sunday and be at a game on Sunday. You know what I mean? I think that has value. I think that's how it works. I don't know JJ Watt. I don't know but I know he loves his brothers.
I know. Listen, they did that. What was that show? It was kind of like a ripoff of American Gladiator.
Yeah.
Tag. That's it. Tag.
Yeah. I mean, they do Subway commercial. I mean, they're all in it, right? That's just the thing. And they had so much joy when Pittsburgh and Houston faced off this year. You know I mean?
For sure.
For sure. The kids were over and all. Are you telling me that they don't want that all the time?
No.
Even if it's just for 1 year?
Yeah.
Like a 1 year.
I don't know though.
JJ Watt in Pittsburgh makes
I feel what you're saying. I just it could happen. It could happen. I'm not gonna say it ain't gonna happen. I'm just wondering though, how much does he want that ring? Is he chasing a ring? And rightfully so, he should be.
Yeah. I don't disagree that he's chasing a ring. I think that he has a good shot in Pittsburgh, and I think that the part that puts him over is, there'll be 3 Watt names on the back of a jersey.
That'd be crazy. Hey, mes amis, Québec, je bois de bière dans une verre pour les.
Where's the SAP button on this thing?
Pour les bières et festival Chambly. Hey, merci beaucoup. So I just said to everybody, listen, I'm drinking my beer from a beer glass that I got in the beer festival in Chambly. Thank you so much.
I don't know how that segue worked, but here we are. Let's talk more about. I want to make this conversation about something different. In our little pre-show chat this morning, you told me that Sidney Crosby has announced his intention that he wants to be traded to the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, I don't know so much of it. He's announced something here. Let me just bring this back up. So basically what we're looking at here, from what I read here from the hockey writers.
Say one thing about what you said.
Yeah.
I said, oh, so he's announcing a trade to a contender. I go, that sucks. You said,
yeah.
no different than LeBron.
Yeah, it is no different. It is no different.
Which I said, well, LeBron was a free agent when he picked his teams. He didn't force a trade out mid-year and quit on his guys. So maybe a little more of that would be good, because these are two different things.
Okay, so Daryl Dreger
didn't even force a trade in off season. Like LeBron was free to go wherever he wanted to.
So
it sounds a bit like a girl broke up with you and then got a new boyfriend, and you're like, oh, same.
All right, so I'm gonna come to Sidney Crosby's rescue. Like, he really needs me to come to his rescue, anyways.
He probably needs the elf of the giant world to come save him.
Listen, Sidney Crosby. Maybe there's some rumbling, because for a hockey scribe to come out and write, even though that he's saying that this is still not for certain, right? For him to write out here, though, that it wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in Colorado. That must mean that there's somebody somewhere saying that Sidney Crosby's not happy in Pittsburgh. Now, Jim Rutherford left, but I think that they got a great GM in Ronnie Hextall. Like, Ronnie Hextall, he built Philadelphia Flyers back up. I don't know if you know Ron Hextall, but if you were to watch any of his games, I think you would really like him, because he's one of those goaltenders that would fight at the drop, like at the drop of a hat. He'd go out there. He went right out after Chris Chelios. I'll never forget that. Took his mask off and everything, went out of it. Just went out.
I know the highlights of the seasons. I watch SportsCenter.
Well, we're talking about, this is back 30 years ago.
Brother, how long have you been watching sports?
Oh, okay. All right.
Not a new thing for me.
So anyways, Ron Hextall's got a good hockey mind. And then they brought in Brian Burke, who I have a lot of respect for Brian Burke. Although when Brian Burke was our GM, he was dealt a poison pill, because John Ferguson Jr. made the Leafs a laughing stock of the NHL for so, like, he had to fix.
What was that guy's position?
The GM.
Oh, so you're talking about the coach and then the GM?
Yeah. So Brian Burke is going in as the president of hockey operations for Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yes, but he was the coach of the Maple Leafs?
No, he was the GM for the Maple Leafs.
Oh, and then the coach of the Maple Leafs sucked.
The coach of the Maple Leafs sucked, but the GM was there. And no. The GM previously, John Ferguson Jr. He just made an entire mess.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, and so he was trying to fix a turd. Yeah. So I might have judged him a little harshly at that.
Way to do that is to flush it, right?
That's basically it. So I might have judged him a little harshly in the beginning of that there, right? But then I was listening to him over the last little bit there, showing up in a few like on Sirius XM on some of the hockey shows that show up on, of course, the NHL Network. And he's the one that said Pierre-Luc Dubois just played his last game. There's going to be a trade. This is going to happen. And sure enough, within 24 hours, bam, it happened. So I think he's got a great hockey mind. I like I said, I gave him it was a bad shake for him to be with the Leafs, but I think Pittsburgh is coming out all right with this. So for Sidney Crosby to be sitting there and saying anything, this is probably him just looking at it like, this is going to take a little bit, because they don't really have a good goaltender. That was stupid of them to get rid of Fleury to Vegas, not protect him. They let him go. Yep. And you're looking at what's happening now. Like, they don't have a legitimate goaltender. They're in dire straits. But for him to go to Colorado, that is a super team right there, because you got Nate McKinnon, Sidney Crosby, Nazem Kadri. Your centerman lineup is solid. That's solid. You're solid down the middle. So then your wings and your right wings, and you got the defense to go along with that, plus a half decent, serviceable goaltender. That's a Stanley Cup. I mean, they went very far last season, all the way, I think, to the conference finals. So
does defense not win championships in hockey?
Of course, defense is very vital. Your goaltending's got to be top notch.
But you just said they have a mediocre goalkeeper.
If your defense is good, so here, have a look at this, okay? Out of all the goaltenders right now, Vasilevsky, who won the Stanley Cup last season, probably the top goaltender right now in the NHL. But having said that, do I think Huboden from Dallas was your top goaltender? No, he wasn't your top goaltender, but he got you there. And there's plenty of examples of goaltenders that will rise to the occasion, but they're not there the whole entire time. So that's always something, right? But if you got half decent defense to at least clear the rebounds that are out there, you're going to have a little bit more success, you know?
I just wanted to clear it up. You said he was a mediocre goaltender, and then you said that,
No, serviceable. So when I say serviceable, that's what I'm trying to say is...
Listen, what I'm saying, this is my confusion. You said that he was mediocre, serviceable, whatever, but then you said you have to have stellar goalkeeper play, and those two things didn't jive for me. Because the way I understand it is if you can have a serviceable goaltender...
I hear you.
And you have
I hear what you're saying.
That can protect him.
I hear what you're saying. Right? You're trying to put me on the straight and narrow here, Brad. I hear you.
Listen, this is your sport.
I know.
Make sure that your sport is,
I feel you. But here's the thing: is that I never thought that Corey Crawford was a stellar goaltender. He was a serviceable goaltender for Chicago when they won those cups. Serviceable. I never thought that Happy Bulin was a great goaltender. He was a serviceable goaltender when they won that cup for Tampa Bay back in 2004.
Yeah, but those guys probably had better than decent lines in front of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, four banging lines.
A serviceable goaltender that will step up in big moments.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that you have 4 serviceable lines in Colorado, plus on top of that, a decent enough defense that'll clear those rebounds. Plus, you got character. Plus, you're going to put arguably the top 2 of the top 5 hockey players in the entire world on that one team.
Of all time.
On that one team of the current time.
Of all time.
Of the current time.
2 of the top 5 players of all time.
Of the current time. Yeah. Listen, there's only one time I saw 2 of the top 5 players play together of any time. And that was Team Canada back in 1988 when you had Gretzky and Lemieux playing together there.
Did they win the gold medal?
Oh yeah. They ran through everybody. It was a run through. What are you talking about? Now, unfortunately, Gretzky, when Lemieux retired and they went to the Olympics, poor old Gretzky, he didn't even get picked for the penalty shot there. Anyways, though, they ended up losing the...
You're the greatest player of all time in your opinion.
I know.
When it mattered, didn't get picked for the penalty
We're
shot.
also talking about a 37-year-old Gretzky here, though, as well. So, yeah.
A 42-year-old quarterback that just won MVP in the Super Bowl, so that's fine. Mm-hmm. Whatever. That's all we do.
Yeah, okay. I do like that meme there with Tom Brady. The only way he won't win a Super Bowl is if he's on this team, and it's, of course, him in a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
I was talking to Lampton about that yesterday, and Lampton said that if Tom Brady goes to Dallas and wins a championship, he'll shut up about him being the GOAT.
So now he has to do this in order to prove it? Oh, my gosh.
No, you can prove it other ways. We're just saying, like, if that's the next move, then we all just kind of,
Listen. Tom Brady proved he's a GOAT. He proved it already. He doesn't have to do anything else. The thing is like, the only thing that irked me is that he's just there. Look, this is how many championships I won. Here, kids, have this Lombardi trophy. People are texting like, hey, Gronk, be careful with that trophy. His kids are like, ah. I got 6 of these.
That was the MVP trophy. It wasn't the Lombardi. But then he did the disrespect to the Lombardi by throwing.
Oh my gosh. Here, kids. I got 6 of these.
He chucked it across the water.
Oh my god.
And it wasn't a great throw. I like non-Belichick Tom. I think Party Boy Tom is fun. A little slot on his boat like the rest of us would.
Listen, can you agree with me that Tampa's defense won that championship. It wasn't anything that Tom Brady did.
There was at least 3 players on the defense that should have been MVP before Tom Brady was.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady did his job.
I would consider an argument that Gronkowski deserved the MVP more than Tom Brady did.
That was all Robert Goodell. Like oh,
Tom was 5 in that list.
Tom.
Bill Roger.
Huh? Yeah. Tom.
It's a family show. We can't talk about it anymore. I'm going to make some bad jokes about Deflategate.
We have to move on. Listen. So here's the difference between American trade rumors and Canadian trade rumors in the NBA.
I already know the answer.
In the NBA. Okay. Not hockey, because hockey we have 7 teams, right? But in the NBA, there's one team. Same thing with baseball, one team. So when something happens, the whole nation knows about it. Not just the city, the whole nation. Like the very fact Kyle Lowry, his house is up for sale, and it's front page sports page news. It's like the front page of the sports page on the National Post, which is a Canadian newspaper, not the Toronto Star.
What if he just wants a new house?
Have you seen that house, man? It's beautiful. I'm going to send you a thing about that house.
That's fantastic. All I'm going to say is if you live in the same place for 7 years and you make more money now than you did when you bought the place, maybe you want to upgrade.
I don't know, man. That house is pretty beautiful.
Maybe Drake's selling one of his cribs and you'll let Colonel have it. You don't know.
But there's a rumor, though, that he might go to Atlanta to get John Collins over here. So I don't know.
That's the dumbest deal you guys can make.
I know. I mean, right now, I've been looking at trade rumors for Toronto, and one of them was like Andre Drummond, Blake Griffin. I'm like, I don't know. We need to get bigger. We lost 2 big men.
Blake could get you deep in the playoffs. I don't know what Drummond does for you.
Healthy Drake.
Healthy
Blake. Healthy Blake. Healthy Drake ain't doing anything for us.
Keep the other brain.
Oh, that's my second beer.
Yeah,
9%. Quiet.
All you're doing is making my Andre the Giant tolerance. What are you doing?
Listen, I mean that's
a healthy Blake Griffin, a motivated Blake Griffin that for being stuck in purgatory that is Detroit would be an upgrade over anything you have in your roster.
Whoa.
At that position, who's better than Blake Griffin?
Oh, okay. No. All right, I'll give you that. Yeah, Pascal Siakam is not. Pascal Siakam is.
I'm not saying I didn't say he was going to come in to be the best player on the team. I'm saying he's an upgrade at that position.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one on your roster that's better than Blake Griffin at that position. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying.
Yeah. But I mean, with Drummond, though, I was thinking like, okay, so you had Drummond, you have Chris Boucher right now.
Yeah.
That's an awesome 1-2 punch. And if you want to go all bigs, you could have them both.
I don't know how many points Drummond's going to score. He's going to make you better defensively. I don't know that he's necessarily Toronto's problem right now.
Well, our rebounding, I don't know if you've seen our rebounding numbers. It's pretty.
But it's scoring too, right? I mean, not doing well there. I mean, the games aren't 130 to 110. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
That's not what's going on. So.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, I'm watching the games. I'm interested. It's like, I mean, it's sad that we have to rebuild, but every great team's going to have to do that. Like, oh, stop it with your Portland. Oh my gosh, that's like so Portlandia. Like PNW all the way right there.
3 starters.
What's that?
We're down 3 starters, but like we just put a colossal ass whipping on the Cleveland Cavaliers last night.
Yeah.
The team that was looking like championship contenders against Brooklyn Nets not too long ago.
Well,
only went on a back-to-back, down 3 starters, but looking good. A lot of fun right now in the PNW. They're not going to win anything, but they're good.
It's fun. It's fun, right? Yeah, for sure. Hey, my Leafs. I don't know if you noticed that. I said it was a big deal. Yeah. Big deal. Buddy, we get to play the Habs.
It was a big deal on our Guys Beer Sports Facebook page, but on your personal page, you didn't say shit. So
whoa, that's because I played.
How big a deal it really was.
Oh, you're funny,
Personal
man.
proclamations.
Oh. Anyways, big deal.
Am I
Okay?
wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I didn't put it out there, but you could guaranteed right now. I'm going to be putting it out there because they're playing again tonight. So I'll be putting.
Yeah, they're going to play again 17 more times in the next 4 weeks.
No. There's only 7 more times that they have to play them. Okay, but the thing is that if we beat them here, we've won 3.
How many times do they play them every year on a normal season?
On a normal one, I believe it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5 or 6. Yeah.
And they're going to play 12 times this year.
10.
Russell Wilson thing.
Yeah.
You know what surprised me? I hadn't thought about the Jets thing until now. I've been thinking about it as we've been talking because, all my hockey takes are just off the cuff. And so while you're talking about hockey, I'm thinking about other things like football. Here's what would be interesting to me. And tell me how much water this holds.
Go for it.
Sam Darnold is a USC guy.
Yep.
And was highly touted.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Carroll is a USC guy.
Right.
Is it a stretch that the trade is Russell Wilson to the Jets for Sam Darnold, the second pick in the 2021 draft, and a third-round pick in the 2021?
No, it's not a far. It's not a far. As a matter of fact, I'd be surprised that you get less than what Stafford and the Goff deal was.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I think I think there has to be a quarterback that comes back and Russell Wilson.
And Sam Darnold is like, all right, yeah, you throw him in there with a first rounder, a third rounder, or a first rounder, or 2 first rounders.
He does what Pete Carroll wants him to do.
Yeah.
Or wants to.
He has to compete. He has to compete against whoever else is coming up there that you draft. And let's face it, you draft a quarterback.
But that's not uncommon for Pete Carroll and John Schneider.
No.
Right. We paid oh man, what's his name? I can't remember because he's never played here. He was here for a year. Matt Flynn. We paid Matt Flynn a good contract to come out of Green Bay.
And he lost his job. He lost his job to Russell Wilson.
To Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
It was thought to be Matt Flynn's team. Tavares Jackson was the backup.
Yeah.
And they have this Russell Wilson kid they drafted on a flyer. And then all of a sudden Russell jumps over T-Jack and he jumps over Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn gets cut in a surprise. And we roll into the T-Jack Russell Wilson world.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, really, no matter which option you guys look at, you're not looking at a horrible thing.
No. And that's,
you know what I mean? And I remember you saying this 2 weeks ago, saying, I wish we can get rid of Russell Wilson so we could start building our defense. So it was just so funny when you said that. And then he shows up on the Dan Patrick show the very next week. It's like, whoa.
I do the math. Of what we're seeing. I think, there was a lot of smoke when Russell was a free agent that he was going to go to New York and play in the Giants. So that's when Eli was going. And the thought was he wanted the market for him and Sierra for their marketing and, the empire he's building. And this isn't me anti-empire building.
Yeah.
This is me anti-empire building at the cause of your job you're currently doing. And then blaming other people for your failure. That's what this is. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
Welcome to 2021, man. I don't know what to say.
It's like you're at your job, right? If you're at your job, and then you find something to do at night part time, like let's just say it's TikTok, right? And then you blow up on TikTok, and then that impacts your job.
Then you have to make a decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you probably don't get to keep your job.
No.
Even though you're building this following that's paying you money on another platform.
You have to make a decision at that point.
And I firmly believe in this. There's equal rights for everyone and special rights for no one.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson doesn't get a pass.
Yeah.
For wanting to do other stuff on the outside.
Right.
Plenty of players have done other things on the outside and not.
I got no problems. I got no problems with that. You have to show up for your job, like you said, original job, right? Yeah. But here's the thing. Now you're thinking that the grass is green on the other side. Well, you might just get your wish. But here's the thing is that no matter which way you look at it, Seattle still comes out a winner because you're going to get all those draft picks. You're going to get somebody back in the return. And New York, then, okay, now all of a sudden you got a great quarterback coming to you that's not really that old. You still got a few more years.
I would love for Russell to stay here.
Yeah, but you're paying a premium for him. where you could have, you know what I mean? You could have eased yourself in. But the thing is, to me, the Jets have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose because they're not going to get the number 1 pick. They don't have Trevor Lawrence. So then who are you going to go for?
If they haven't lost their fan base by now, they're not going to start.
That's it. I mean, and it's sad because Robert Saleh is coming in there and he's asked to build a miracle team right now, you know, and it's like
another interesting point because you know who was in Seattle with Russell Wilson early on. Interesting. I like this Jets thing, Sean. It's a good deal.
Listen, I was thinking about it. I was like, this is the only logical sense to me. If I was a GM, this is what I would do. Now, having said that, I'm not a GM.
You're a good man.
Well, thank you. Although you and I somehow are just, I don't know, like you had to correct me on Joe Thornton. I needed a correction on that.
Not a good man. This means you're ill-informed on your.
Oh, Brad, you're just killing me here. Brad is killing me today. Keep me on the straight and narrow. I don't know what I'd do without him. And right now, there's a lot of things happening. I can't believe right now, Brad, and you have to agree with me on this. Okay, so with all these moves happening, what do you think is going to happen when we come back in 2 weeks? What's your predictions?
It's hard. I don't think anything has happened in the next 2 weeks. I think it all just kind of sits where, man, I don't know.
Things happen quick, eh? When things happen, they happen very quick.
Yeah. You know what? Now that here's what I think happens. Now that the JJ Watt thing has cleared, and that Texans have signaled a clear rebuilding, I think that there's going to be a 3-team trade that ends up with Deshaun Watson going to San Francisco, Jimmy Garoppolo going to Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins going to Houston, and draft picks, obviously.
That's not crazy. Yeah, that makes sense. But you're saying, so that's a lot of moving parts here. So Deshaun Watson goes to San Fran.
Yes,
right?
Deshaun Watson ends up in San Fran.
But
Minnesota gets Jimmy Garoppolo and 2 picks, one from San Francisco, one from Houston. Houston takes back Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Swap picks of the first round from Minnesota and Houston, and 2 future first rounds from San Francisco.
Because Houston needs first round picks.
Yeah, they've
a whole ton of them. Yeah.
I think they swap with Minnesota in a round, and I think in a first round, I think they get 2 future firsts from San Francisco.
Yeah.
So 3 essentially.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins is, well, he's serviceable.
He's a good rebuilding quarterback.
Yeah, he is. How sad is that? That's your job. Go in and fix people's messes. Like RG3, when he went down, he had to go in there to Washington, fix that mess. Goes to Minnesota, but that was his team. He was supposed to make that into a team, and it just never panned out.
This is not a leader, right? That's what you want in a rebuild. Is not a leader.
I just heard him on NFL Network there in Sirius. And it sounded like he was ready to do radio. He was ready to do radio right away. I'm like, what's this guy doing? You still got to play, buddy.
You got enough money.
Yeah. So,
$100 million. Help you do some things. Ask Conor McGregor.
Oh, that's official, buddy. Number 3, Poirier, Conor McGregor.
June, is that what it is?
Yeah.
If Conor gets destroyed again, is he done?
Oh yeah, for sure. But my thing is that Poirier is not even going for a title fight. He's not doing that. He's taking the payday. I can't blame him.
I think he just wants to beat the tar off of him one more time.
Why not?
He'll still be in that spot. I mean,
he's going to beat him again. There's no question.
Even if he loses, he doesn't lose that spot. Like my dog wants to get fed. Hi, Kiki. Hi.
Now, what's your prediction? Oh my goodness. This dog is too much.
Very happy.
All right. What is your prediction now? So we talked about Deshaun Watson. What's your prediction? Do you think JJ Watt gets signed in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, man, JJ Watt goes to Pittsburgh and he goes quickly.
Okay. What is your prediction on what's happening in the NHL? What do you think?
I think that Sidney Crosby gets traded. I think that he ends up in playing for the Washington Capitals.
I like the way you think.
No.
Forever enemies could be future allies. That would be so awesome. Wow.
Only in
Wow.
this world, right? Only in a pandemic, but
So, okay. So I'm going to give you mine. So I think that Russell Wilson might go to the Jets.
no, you gotta own it. Not this might shit. It's gotta be on.
All right. Russell Wilson is a Jet.
Okay.
You guys going to get Sam Darnold back and everything like that. I like your quarterback carousel with San Fran and everything, because they're definitely movers. You know what I mean? Deshaun Watson needs to get moving. I don't disagree with you on that one. And definitely Minnesota is definitely a shopper as well. So that one, I'm probably on the same board with you. I'm going to say that Sidney Crosby is going to stay where he is. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think that we're going to see Toronto try to add another piece
In the NHL?
in the NHL, just a small piece in order to keep them going, because the thing is that they have a couple older guys that are just locker room glue, but they need somebody else that's going to be a little bit more serviceable in order to take some of the minutes.
Sure.
And Leafs are number one team right now in the NHL, so I don't see
Are
them.
they still the number one team in 2 weeks when we come back?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the Maple Leafs are going to look like juggernauts. Okay, that's my bias right there. That's completely my bias. That is not even I'm not even giving you any sort of perspective. That is my bias. I'm sorry. To be honest with you, I think that the Leafs still be number one, but I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I mean, we have Montreal a couple more times here. Montreal is not going to give us every game. So we got to be honest with you on that one. So, but I still think that they're going to be number one by a couple of points. Yeah. So,
Okay.
not the juggernaut that I just said.
No, they might be. We'll see. Your boy can dream. You shouldn't shut your fandom down. You just got to be honest about it.
Well, I'm being honest right now. I do think they'll be number one. I mean, I'm going juggernauts. You know, the thing is that
there's a difference in those two things, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Is Usman still a champ when we come back? Tim and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Yeah,
That's
I think he
cards,
makes this
whatever.
he makes
does
this
he
the most
retain the
boringest match ever. He's gonna wrestle him, keep him down. He doesn't want to deal with his power. He doesn't want to deal with any of that. Yeah, absolutely. He's still the champion. He's gonna wrestle him down. Yeah.
All right.
You know, I do think that.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think he retains it.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Well, friends, that's the end of season 1. There we are on our way. So again, we appreciate your support. You'll see stuff from us. We've got some things planned for our hiatus. We'll be back first week of March. Is that right?
March 7th is when the episode will air. Yeah.
So the first full week of March, you'll find us. We're going to be excited to be back. We've got a bunch of fun stuff planned for season 2. So thanks for rocking with us in the, actually, I do want to say one last thing. Today is February 13th. It's my nephew's 16th birthday. So Ezra, happy birthday, buddy. Love you.
Happy birthday, Ezra.
Carrying on the name, that's the good thing. And my grandpa George always had a saying when we're walking out, and it's something that I try to carry on with all of the kids these days. And it's when you leave the house, it's hey, you be good or be good at it. And so I'd like to encourage y'all to be good or be good at it. Peace.
See you guys later. Season 2.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.
We can catch it.
Yeah, I like it. Like right now, because you can see the recording sign up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just fun to watch. The kids are all freaking out because of snow, and the dog had to go out, and the dog loves the snow, and just everything took longer this morning.
Man, so I forgot to mention to you that that Tom guy, Tom Fairey there, he was actually going to say something about you doing 100 push-ups, but I said no, let's not do that. I don't want to bring any light to Brad's bacchiotomy problem, right?
Yeah, I thought we would open up season 2 with it.
That sounds good. And then he goes, well, your co-host Brad then should be working on his core more. We didn't record that though.
He's not wrong.
And Wade Simmons coming in, those veteran guys coming in and telling them, this is what you got to do to win.
The same Joe Thornton that you were upset about.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now when I look at it for 700,000, it was a steal. He's not getting any goals. He's not getting any assists.
About the value of veteran leadership when he was signed, and you told me to shut it.
I did, and I should have listened to you, Brad. Listen, we're going off the rails here today.
One of us did.
Listen,
one of us is going to have a nap after this. I can guarantee it. I can see it in your eyes already.
Listen,
we're going to have a snowball fight and build some snowmen. You are going to go have a nap. We're not the same.
Oh my gosh.